Hi, this is Mason, and you're watching the 315 with Brian Higgins. Now it's time to start the post-game show. Here's Brian.
Oh, thank you, Mason. That game took a minute. We're cruising here late on a Tuesday. Cuse win. And somehow make it feel like a little bit otherwise. It is their skill. Is it not? 82-72 road win on the road in Atlanta tonight against Georgia Tech. A game the Orange led by 20 early stages of the second half. And whoo, doggy, it got a little tight around the collar there down the stretch, did it not? But Syracuse pulls it out. Career night for Donnie Freeman, 27 points. Yeah, he tacked on the two late free throws. His previous career high was 24. 27 points tonight for Donnie in just his second game back from injury, just his sixth game played of the season. And yeah, funny what happens when you get your best player back in the lineup. And yet, that all said, it's amazing what happens, right, in a game like this, and the games that we've watched this year, and, you know, I've watched in many ways the last few years, that because of everything swirling around the program right now and the big picture stuff and all of those things, it's just when you go on the road in league 10-point win, in theory, should be unquestioned, right? Road league 10-point win. I don't care if it's the ACC. I don't care if it's the Big East back in the day or whatever. And yet, 20-point lead dwindles. All of a sudden, nervous moments late in the game, and a lot of the good vibes, man, do just elude this team. Even in a road 10-point win, the good vibes elude this team. Yeah, T. Murphy, any road conference win is a good win. This is a good win. But we'll see. It's just the vibes around the team have been tough here recently. But here we are. Syracuse does win by 10 today here. And we've got the link pinned top of the chat here. We'll take your live video calls throughout the show. No red presser on the road ACC games unless somebody knows where one might be hiding. Those generally not available live for the road games, but we'll try to keep you apprised of anything he says or does not say at any point after the game, so we'll keep our eyes on that as well. And, of course, we got all of y'all in the chat, so good to have you here on this Tuesday night after Syracuse goes and wins a game that, I mean, they had to win this game, right? Especially after losing to Clemson last Wednesday. And that was Wednesday, right? Last week, days didn't really exist. We had this, like, the longest holiday season ever. This is Tuesday, so I'm told we're finally getting back in the rhythm of knowing what day of the week it is. But you got the road conference win. Are you spelling win that way intentionally, Randy? If not, that's kind of a wild autocorrect that you've pulled there. But yeah, any road conference win, like Georgia Tech went into Cameron last week and almost won the game. They lost by 6. So this is an okay team. Then Dongo's clearly their best player. When he was not in the game, like Georgia Tech, in the minutes he did not play tonight, Georgia Tech was an absolute mess. Happy birthday tomorrow, Jen. It's today is the birthday of, speaking of tomorrow, the return of our TPS report, Transfer Portal Syracuse. It's Jordan's birthday today, so the birthday boy will be on with us tomorrow. Yeah, we got a little zone there at the end. I've seen that certainly sparingly this year, but it seemed to work. Is Sadiq hurt? I don't know, Daniel. Like, let me put it this way. Like, clearly something is banged up a little bit. Is that why he was not playing? I don't know. I think your combination of Kyle and Freeman made a lot more sense. Like, how are you going to take Donnie out of the game, right? Like, how are you going to take Donnie out of this game? He had 27 points, 9 rebounds, 34 minutes played. The best game of his career. Like, how are you going to take him out of the game? And that goes into here, Donnie back in, having to make changes to the rotation. Sadiq plays only 8 minutes today. Cayenne had to go into the first half, right? He has 11 points, only 18 minutes. I wouldn't have minded seeing Cayenne there at some point at the end, just a little bit, but this is where you are. Coaches often lean veteran, and he had J.J. Kings and George. Kings played 37 minutes, George played 34, and J.J. played 28 minutes tonight, 25 minutes from Kyle. So there was not a lot of minutes to go around there when you look at how the rotation went to. Yeah, I wouldn't have minded. J.J. was struggling. J.J. goes 2 of 10. And then, he gets to the rim on those last couple of plays late, which could have really stopped the Georgia Tech run. But ball don't go in. And yeah, sloppy second half. There were the turnovers after halftime. Syracuse ends up with 15 turnovers in the game, which it's not great. It's not ridiculous. It's not great. 11 turnovers in the second half is really, really bad. 11 turnovers in the second half is bad. And yeah, Mark, that's what I was thinking. There was a point midway through the second half, right? You get the lead to 20. You think the game is over. Then you realize, oh, crap, there's still 16 minutes left in the game. At some point, and this, honestly, of all of the things over the now 2.5+ years of Red here, of all of the things that I've wondered about his coaching, and we talk offense, we talk this, we talk whatever. He seems, and he doesn't seem to have necessarily gotten better at this. He seems to get lost in the sauce a little bit on rotations, getting guys back in the game, like that stuff, where, and again, this is the tough spot that Red is in. He's following Jim Boeheim. Jim Boeheim, very good at that. Jim Boeheim always was aware, for the most part, of guy in, guy out. Like, we gotta, when are we gonna do stuff like that? Red seems to, take a guy out, then he'll kind of forget to put him back in. And Cayenne, in many ways, to me, felt like that guy tonight. He had 18. I don't know how many minutes he played in the second half. He played 7 minutes in the second half, but he also made no impact on his minutes in the second half. All of Cayenne's points came in the first half. So, yeah, I don't know about the Red substitution patterns. Yeah, the subbing in and out was weird, Kev, but I'll say that it was no different tonight than it has been for 2.5 years. Yeah. And, I'll say I agree with you, Jay, on that. Should they have gone at Ndongo immediately when he came back in after he picked up those 3 fouls in less than 2 minutes to start the second half? The easy answer to that is yes. The one problem that can occur from stuff like that is if you're just like, we are going to foul this guy out. It can really throw you off your game plan. The one big difference, though, here is that the guy you, in theory, would have been going after Ndongo with would have been Freeman, right? I realized Ndongo wasn't guarding Freeman, but he was guarding the rim. Freeman was going to the rim. That's when you send Donnie like a bat out of the hell, right? Trying to get him fouled out of the game. But do we have the right to be complaining after a victory? We will always complain, Randy. We complain. We will always complain. We will always complain. Haven't won a challenge since Obama was president. Oh, Gary. Yeah, the challenges. Here's the thing about the challenges tonight. Like, the first challenge, it clearly was correct and handled quickly. The second challenge, my problem with the second challenge is not that they got it wrong, because before we saw the replay on the second challenge, we got a really good look at JJ's face, right? And JJ's face was telling me that the ball went off JJ's foot, because you can tell, like, the players know when the ball hit him. Yeah, Randy, like, the whole industry's kaput if we're not complaining all the time. But you could tell by the look on JJ's face, I think the ball went off JJ, because I'm looking at his face, and his face is like, it kind of went off me. But you couldn't tell for the life of you by anything those cameras showed, and they were over at that monitor for 98 minutes. One of those 3 refs working hard, very, very sweaty. Lee Cassell's hair, immaculate as always. One of the other refs just looked like he walked out of the sauna. But they were looking at that thing forever. They need to put a time limit on these things. They need to put a time limit on it because it's supposed to be, Clear and obvious, right? Put a time limit on it. Yeah, JJ has struggled here. JJ struggled the last couple of games. Yeah, it's one of these things, Matt NY, that the complaints about this game are not because of this game, right? The complaints about this game are not about this game. I think that's where we've gotten to, and that's the main problem I think Red has right now. Because, all right, put this in a vacuum. Syracuse, I don't think so, CJC. That's generally not available on road games. We're keeping an eye out, but I don't think so. When I see some quotes and stuff floating around, we will deliver it to you. But the link pinned top of the chat, as always, for a live video call. We have our first caller in. We can get that going as well. So we'd love to talk to you throughout our time together tonight. But before we get to Anthony here, what I'm saying here is that Syracuse won a 10-point road league game. You put that in a bottle by itself, great. And yeah, can you nitpick some of the things? They're up 20. Should they have won by more? This, that, whatever. You're right. In the Boeheim years, though, ACC, Big East, wherever, you win a game like this, you say, well, all right, little sloppy at points, but won double figures on the road in league. Put that on the shelf and move along. That's a good win. The issues that are coming, I think, for all of us today are because we, in Georgia Tech's comeback into the game here, it was all of the same stuff that Syracuse has been doing wrong all year that allowed them back into the game. And I think that's what opens the door to frustration, because we can't avoid it. We can't. We'll bring on Anthony here. Anthony and I had this same conversation last game. It was after a loss. We keep watching the same game over and over, don't we, Anthony? Tonight they won it, thank goodness. But, man, they certainly opened the door down the stretch.
What's up, Brian? Nah, you hit the nail on the head. No, listen, the first thing I want to say is I kind of beg to differ, because we had a chance to move up in the net in the Ken Palm, beat them by 20.
That's true.
I don't really think 10-point. I don't. We got to move up in the net, but it was a good win overall. First half positives. They came out pressing a little bit, crashing the boards. Guys were cutting to the basket. They put Kyan in early. A lot of ball movement. That's where they got all the good shots. They were moving the ball.
Yep.
Same old good defense. And they were hitting threes. I think they hit 5. The only negative in the first half is JJ wasn't consistent driving to the basket, because I don't know why he's not doing that. He had that monster dunk, and then he just stopped. What's going on with JJ? So the second half, it was the total opposite. The negatives, they start standing around, not cutting to the basket, playing a little iso ball. They start lagging on defense. You've seen a couple of times that Georgia Tech driving the ball, nobody was even in the lane to try to block. They weren't pressing at all, and there was no lack of ball movement. That's how it was, the total opposite from the first half. And the only positives came at the end where they went zone. Actually, I've been calling for that the whole year. I really think they have a team built for zone. I don't know why he doesn't see that. But and the foul shooting was a positive for the second half. But overall, they like I said, the substitution, Betsy, he hit that first 3. He never took another shot. I don't know why Autry took him out. And Kings. Remember, Autry said we need to get more shots for Betsy and Kings.
Right.
He must have forgot about that during this game. But overall, yeah, we'll take the win. But we really had an opportunity to move up at least like 10, 15 spots in the net.
Yeah, like you're not gonna kick out a 10-point road win. Certainly not in the league. But you're right. Like this is one where again we're miles and miles away from that mattering, right? But if you're gonna get back in the mix, like either you're gonna have to win a lot of games, or if you're gonna have to win some of these games really, really impressively, which is that's a rich guy's problem, right? If you're gonna get into it, but that's what Syracuse is thinking about right here, Anthony, because it's not just about tonight. This is the big picture stuff with Red in March and all the things we've been talking about all season.
You were right. Red went to sleep. Second half, he went to sleep. He had a lot of energy. I don't know what happened. In the second half, he just really wasn't, pulling guys out and say, hey, come on, we got to do the same thing. He just let it get way down to 5 points, and then he went to zone. But he could have changed that. He could have called some timeouts during that comeback. He could have called some timeouts and say, "Hey, what are you doing?" You know?
Yeah, I look at the game and they got up 20, and then you realize, whoa, there's still like 16 minutes left, and it felt like they're like, all right, game's over. And Georgia Tech, to their credit, when Dongo got back in the game was not over. Like Damon Stoudemire was like, all right, we got to get him in the game, and he put him back in with what 4 fouls and 10-ish minutes left, and he dragged him back almost by himself. But full credit.
Probably could have fouled him out. If Red would have stopped, called timeout, say, listen, this is the game plan. We're gonna get it down to Donnie down low. We're gonna foul this guy out. Got one more foul. We're gonna foul him out. That's where Red has to intervene. But I give Red a B- for this game. I give him a B-, maybe a C+.
Okay.
But he got an A if he had a stronger game plan.
Yeah, like the first half for the most part was really good, and you're right. They haven't had a lot of experience playing with 20-point leads in real games like this, but I guess it was a learning experience tonight. All right, Anthony,
Thanks,
always good to hear from you, man. There's our guy Anthony checking in. That's the wrong button.
Hi, this is Mace.
Wrong button. Just that's rookie stuff. That's shameful stuff. There was Mason again. You're welcome. All right, link pin top of the chat if you, like Anthony, would like to join the program here. But I think to the point, like, a lot of this is that it's because of the other games that we are nitpicking on the stuff tonight. It's because of the beginning of this season, and it's because of the last couple of years that we're nitpicking on a 20-point lead turning into a 10-point win. A 10-point league win is good. But, right? And where we are in the Syracuse world right now, because it's not about a one-game thing right now. It's not about did you win this game. It's all big picture stuff. With Red. It's all big picture stuff. That's true. Lebdell was not there today. He missed the trip. I guess he was under the weather. Did not travel. So the juicing station was down their lead juicer, Dinky's Pond. Noah Lebdell was not on the trip. Under the weather. Did not travel to the ATL. So yeah, you gotta worry about that. Yeah, I'd say not the whole second half, right, Cam? Like, they come out of halftime. What was the lead at halftime? The lead at halftime was 14. You come out of the second half, and you pushed it to 20 real quick. They got the lead. The biggest lead was 58-38 with 14:20 to go in the game. And then you're like, okay, game's over. And you're like, wait a minute. Wait, how much time is... And then Georgia Tech is like, okay, they're lingering. Are you going to give them a moment? And yeah, Syracuse gave them a moment. Yeah, it is worth nitpicking, Mark. And I'll say it's worth nitpicking. And the reason I say, and I keep coming back to it here, the reason it is worth nitpicking is not because of tonight. The reason it is worth nitpicking is because we've seen it over and over and over again. Like, if this happened once, right? If you had a team that gets up 20 and then they played with their food a little bit and the game got a little bit close and they end up winning by 10 and that's a one-off, you're like, okay, whatever. Okay, whatever. Yeah, of course, T. Murphy. It's one of these things where, like, in a vacuum, Syracuse goes and wins by 10 at Georgia Tech. Great, absolutely. I predicted Syracuse to lose the game. So to win the game in any fashion is great. To win the game by 10 is great. To play the way they played for the first 25 minutes, that's the best in many ways. They've played all year, setting aside maybe the Tennessee game or parts of Baylor. Certainly just the offense, Donnie, all that, things looked so much better for large stretches tonight. Yeah, it's worth nitpicking because of the big picture stuff, because the big picture stuff is so wearing and so grating on the fan base, and it's been going on for so long. That's why it's worth nitpicking. And I think that's where Red is in a really tough spot right now with the fan base, because that is not going to change for the rest of this season until either they don't make the tournament and he gets fired, or they win enough games and we finally start feeling in a good mood about Syracuse basketball again. Like, it's not a one game fix for Red. And I honestly feel bad for him about that, but that is the 5-10 year process that has landed us here tonight. This was like, none of this conversation is like, oh man, I can't believe I can't believe they let it slip away, but then, oh, good, they sealed it up late. Like, if this game had happened 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever, with, I don't know, pick a good Syracuse team. Whatever. I'm sure the Wes Johnson team probably had a game like this. I don't remember. I'm sure the Fab Mello team probably had a game like this. I don't know. But you're just like, all right, whatever. All right, whatever. And yeah, but the adjustments or lack thereof, MJ Burke, you see him tonight, it almost cost him. And then you look at some of the other games, you look at Houston, you look at Kansas, the way that game got away in the last 10 minutes. You look at some of these games, and yeah, the Donnie factor could save Red's job. And if it does, it should. Like, Red recruited him. Red was his recruiter. Red went and got Donnie Freeman and brought him here. Like, if he's going to save his job, absolutely, it should be because of Donnie. Like, full credit to Red. That's why Donnie's here. We all said before the start of the season that Donnie was the best player on the team. I said before the start of the year he had a chance to be all league. You know, if healthy. That's the guy we saw tonight. And if that's the guy that we get for the rest of the season, Syracuse has a chance to do something here. I mean, we went through the schedule on Postgame. We went through the schedule on Postgame last game, and this was the first of a 6-game stretch here. They're at Pitt on Saturday. Normally, you'd say, oh, God, at Pitt, Syracuse doesn't do very well there. And they don't historically, but this year, Pitt's not that good. Like, this is a game where if Syracuse is going to have a chance to do things, let's go and do it. Let's go and do it. Pardon me. And if you're going to do stuff like that, you know what's helpful? Is having the best guy on the floor. Donnie Freeman was the best player in the game tonight. Syracuse had the best player in the game. Syracuse won the game tonight because they had the best player in the game. You only think a player that can run the offense is useful when they have an offense to run. Nate George had a really weird night tonight. 17 points, okay. 10 of 10 from the line, very good. 6 turnovers, oh. And 4 of the 6 turnovers came in the second half. He's had some really weird games this year. The Nate George thing has been baffling to me all year. I know tonight was kind of a weird environment for him to be in. He was getting booed the whole game. I feel bad for that McCamish Pavilion down there. I've been there a handful of times for women's games over the years. If that place was packed, like if Georgia Tech was good, that would be a really cool place for a game because it's very steep, it's very intimate, it's not bandbox tiny, but it's not huge. Like that would be a really cool place for a game if packed. When it's like it was tonight, it feels just like weird. It's just like off-putting. And like, why were the dance team cheerleaders just standing there across the way the whole game? That was odd placement. Like, what is the whole setup is weird. Just very bizarre. Very bizarre. Is Nate George shaving points? We're going to go no. I'm just assuming, like, the guys don't need to shave points anymore with that NIL cash. You don't need to go early 80s BC. Link pin top of the chat if you'd like to join the show. If you'd like to have one of your comments highlighted in an exciting way, you can click that little $ thing that's right next to the chat box, and it'll let you do cool stuff like become a member of the channel or highlight your chat or do any fun thing like that. Yeah, it's like theater like seating Dinky's Pond. It goes pretty steep up. It's a really weird building to enter if you're coming from the team bus. You go in and you come down like this incredibly long hallway and then stairs and a ramp. There's like a lot going on to get from street level down to court level. It's all down inside. I like the building, but that would be one, like if Georgia Tech was good, that place would be rocking. Absolutely rocking. But somebody asked me this on Twitter during the game, like, they asked me, has Georgia Tech been relevant since Bobby Cremins? And I shamed them because who could forget Paul Hewitt taking a Luke Schenscher. It's 20 years later, it's still a hard name to say. Luke Schenscher team to the national championship game and getting absolutely destroyed by Connecticut back in 2004. But no, Georgia Tech has not been relevant for a very long time. Georgia Tech has not been relevant for a very long time, which is too bad because that's You know, Georgia Tech would be I'd say that'd be a fun team to be relevant. You know, it's Atlanta. It's they got a vibe. They got a vibe going. Chris Bosh was there. They showed the Chris Bosh highlights in the Dome where Mello wore him out. Absolutely wore him out. Pardon me. I'm going to do full disclosure. I need to blow my nose right now, so I'm going to mute my mic so you don't hear crazy nose blowing sounds, and then we can get back to talking amongst ourselves. That's much better. All right. T. Murphy's got good weather. All right. Yeah, Chris Bosh really good. At Georgia Tech, Stephon Marbury. That was a long time ago. Kenny Anderson. Gavendo has moved to Florida. Matt NY will pay $5 if Dinky's Pond calls in as Dinky's Pond. All right. Well, the link is pinned top of the chat. Wasn't Georgia Tech going to be in the football playoff this year? For a minute. That took a left turn late. Dennis Scott. Yeah, that's because Dennis Scott won't leave us alone, Randy. Oh, my goodness. I could go without a Dennis Scott game for a while on the broadcast. Thank goodness we didn't have Dennis Scott doing a Georgia Tech home game tonight in Atlanta. I don't think I could have possibly handled that. Don't think I could have handled that at all. Don't think I could have handled that at all. Great crowd here though on a Tuesday night, and you know we can take this whichever way you'd like to go. We're all getting YouTube COVID from the show. Yeah, you know it's contagious. Yeah, Calvin Johnson, Roman Reigns. Who else is from Georgia Tech recently in any context that matters? Calvin Johnson, Roman Reigns. Yeah, that's a great. It's not a lengthy list. It is not a lengthy list of Georgia Tech people. What would our net be if they won by 820? Man, I am not I'm not all up in that net math, Gavendo. What's the one thing I can do is look up what they are right now, and what Georgia Tech is right now, and we can compare. Chris Bosh did play in the Dome and got absolutely worked. Yeah. All right, where was Georgia Tech in the net? Scrolling. Okay, so Syracuse entering tonight was an awe-inspiring 90th in the net. Georgia Tech. Did I go past Georgia Tech? I suppose I could just use the search function. That would probably be easier than just blindly searching here. Find Georgia Tech. Oh my goodness, Georgia Tech was 147 in the net coming into tonight. Yeah, so great. Yeah, that's a quad 3 special right there. They were 147. Wow, I didn't realize they were that low. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Let's look ahead. Pitt is somewhere in here. Pitt is 112 in the net. Syracuse will be at Pittsburgh on Saturday. Is that 2 o'clock tip? Pittsburgh will be 4 o'clock tip? What time is that game on Saturday? It's definitely at a time. Syracuse will be at Pittsburgh on Saturday. And that's another game like this game that I know historically the Peterson Event Center has been a house of horrors for many, and especially Syracuse. And to expect a win there historically doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Syracuse has to go win that game right on Saturday. They need to keep this going. Absolutely need to keep this going. They've got Pitt next Saturday. Pitt currently has a losing record. They're 7-8 right now. Do they play tomorrow, I think? When does Pitt play? Pardon me. Basketball schedules. Loading. Scores. ACC. How about Duke's comeback at Louisville tonight? That was a double-digit down to double-digit up. NC State up 8 on Boston College right now at halftime. Is Pitt playing tomorrow? Oh, Pitt's off midweek this week. Then at explains why I couldn't think of who they were playing. So Syracuse is going to play a Pitt team on Saturday that currently has a losing record. Last time you watched a Cuse game at Pitt, McCord threw 8 pick sixes. Yeah. Things go wonky there. Red the good old boy. Things go wonky there. So it's one where, like, should this Syracuse team go to Pittsburgh and win the game on Saturday? Yes. Yes, they should. But to feel good about counting that in the win column today, yeah. I'm not, Hoster beat Pitt. Anyone can be, wait a minute. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, you got to go win that game, though. Then you got Florida State after that. Florida State is, what's Florida State up to? Florida State's 7-8 also. They'll be coming to the Dome. Like, Florida State's no great shakes this year. That'll be in the Dome. Then you're at BC. Like, if you're anybody, like, they're currently 7-7 and losing by double digits at halftime at home to Quadir Copeland and NC State. Then you got Virginia Tech and Miami are the next two in the Dome after that. Let me just look at the ACC standings. That'll be easier instead of wildly scrolling. Virginia Atlantic Coast Conference. There we are. Virginia Tech's 12-3. All right, they're not terrible. But like that's a home game. That's a 9:00 game on a Wednesday. Oh, that's disgusting. So that game's coming up. Like, that's a game. Like, okay, can you get on a roll by then? And Miami's 12-2. So those two games are certainly not gimme games, but they are both in the Dome. Like, so you have this chance here. You've got your easiest road games here coming up. You got your easiest road games coming up with Georgia Tech today, Pittsburgh Saturday, then Boston College a week from Saturday. You got an easy-ish, in theory, home game in the middle with Florida State. And then, if you're playing well, you have, I'd say, gettable games at the Dome with Virginia Tech and Miami before you go to Raleigh to take on NC State. So, like, this is your chance. This is your chance right now. They're at a last Super Cat? Well, that's big news. NC State's game did come on after ours, and then I went to hit the mute button on the remote, and I succeeded on hitting the mute button, but I also hit the Netflix button. So instead of fixing that, I just turned off the TV. That seemed like too much work at that point. I got a few seconds of my guy Anish Shroff and my guy Terrence Oglesby calling the game from Connie Forum, and then my remote bungling led to me just giving up and turning the TV off. So that's where we went on that game. Saying Red can keep his job. Red's not going anywhere until the end of the season, like regardless. But if Red's going to keep his job next year, this next 3 weeks is really, really, really important. It is vitally important here this next 3 weeks if Red wants to give himself a chance to have a chance to, did we hear it a few times on the broadcast tonight, play meaningful games in March. Yeah, you pick me over NXT, Devin. Or go, multiple screens or something. Or it's 10 o'clock now. Isn't it over already? Doesn't it end? Seinfeld's on Netflix now? Is that where? All the episodes of Seinfeld, I think they're just playing on a permanent loop in my brain. Who needs to actually watch them when they're all like internally stuffed in there? I can. It's like Kramer just pulling something up. Oh yeah, the Ennis game of Pitt was the peak of Syracuse basketball this millennium. Well, I'm gonna Dinky's Pond, if we may, just for a minute. Just pop in the fact that the national championship was this millennium also. So I'm gonna go with the national championship. Though that Ennis shot was pretty awesome. I do like the Ennis shot. It was pretty good. And you could argue it's all been downhill for Syracuse basketball since that Tyler Ennis 3 splashed through the hoop back on was that a late January day? Early February day? Whatever it was, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, back in 2014. Yes, the Final Four has been made since then, but man, things really turned in that day in Pittsburgh some 12 years ago. Yeah, Dale, this game showed what they can do. Like if you want to go, was the high water mark of the last 12 years. I don't know if I'd go there. They did make the Final Four in 2016. It was a great moment. Hey, Randy, friend of the 315. Thank you, Randy, for becoming a friend of the program. If you'd like to do what Randy did and get your name and like have above him, turn your name green, click the $sign next to the chat box and you can become a member of the channel as well. And then your name gets to be green. I assume they turn it green because money is green, and that's how that works. Yeah, 2016 Final Four. After that, it's all gone a bit wonky. All gone a bit wonky after that. Had a couple of mini tournament runs, and yeah, here we are. Here we are. The buzzer beater versus Duke. The John Gillen buzzer beater versus Duke game was a freaking awesome basketball game. God, that was an awesome game in front of 80. I mean, that must have been one of the record crowds or close to games, right? That was an awesome, awesome basketball game. We need, and I get it, like that, and I know there's a lot of things Syracuse basketball wants to get back to and whatnot, right? Want to get back to the tournament, want to get back to relevancy, want to get back to whatever. That team, buzzer beater versus Duke, that team missed the tournament. But they beat, 4 top 10 teams this year, that year, whatever it was. And just they lost too many wonky games and they missed the tournament. That team still put butts in seats, played wildly entertaining games, and had moments like that. That is what's been lacking here from Syracuse basketball in the last, that was 2017. So we're almost a decade on from that, and you can count the moments like that. Devin, friend of the 315. There we go. It's one of those things where you can, okay, there's the Gillen shot. Yeah, all right, they had that one run in the tournament where they thought they were going to miss it the one year with Tyus, right? That you had the Buddy Buckets. Quadir shot a couple years ago against Miami. And you're getting to the end of the list really, really quickly when it used to be multiple of them a year. And I think that's why I think we're all so just twitchy about it. Gavendo is on a budget. Yes, you can be a friend of the 315 for the low price of $1.99. If you'd like to be a loyalist, that is $4.99. And I forget what it is. There's some. It's either the next level of subscribers I reach, or if there's an amount of members. I gotta look at the thing again. There's something that triggers that I can create a third level. I forget what it is. So then I can make something that sounds even more insane and see if anybody wants to spend more money. Or I could make an even lower level. That would be get down into Gavendo's tax bracket. We can see how we can do that. Pitt almost beat Clemson this weekend. Hey, Syracuse almost beat Clemson before that. Everybody's almost beaten Clemson. Everybody's doing it. Almost beating Clemson is the talk of the town. This is wild. I'm looking at the ACC standings. The schedule started a week and a half ago. There's only 4 teams undefeated in league play still. Duke's 3-0. Clemson's 2-0. Miami and SMU are 1-0. Everybody else has lost a game already in the league. That's nuts. Nobody's played more than 3 games. A lot of teams have played only 2 games. And only 4 teams are undefeated. Only 2 teams in the league have played more than 1 game and won all of them. That's Duke and Clemson, and Clemson's games were barely escaping Syracuse and barely escaping Pittsburgh. Oh, man. I think it's a pretty good league this year. It's certainly more compelling as a league than it has been here in the last few years, which has been exacerbated. I mean, partly because Syracuse hasn't been. very good. Like, Syracuse hasn't been pulling its weight in the upper middle part of the pack here. So let's see if they can do that here and get in the mix over the next couple of weeks. It's also, there's only 3 winless teams in the league. Boston College, 0-1, and losing right now. Florida State and Pitt, which ironically are Syracuse's next 2 games. And this is why I say, all right, Syracuse needs to go on a run. Now, Pitt and Florida State are the only 0-2 teams in the ACC right now. So Syracuse is going to jump on it. Yeah, I mean, realistically, like, tonight, Devin, like, will Duke go undefeated in the league? I would guess no, just because that's really, really hard to do. But they were down double digits at the Yum Center against Louisville tonight. And they won by double digits. Like, Duke is really, really good. Their at Carolina game is first week of February. And then they host Carolina to end the season. Oh, well, that's not a conference game. Duke's playing Michigan in the late February. That's a rando game on the schedule. That's kind of nuts. Duke, Michigan, late February? Wow. That's a cool game. I'd watch that game. Georgia Tech will probably be on the bubble. I totally forgot the teams missed the ACC tournament again. Oh, my God. They keep changing so much crap. Who can remember? Who can remember? T. Murphy's proud to be a drunk. You're all going to be proud of something. Again, link pin top of the chat if you'd like to join with a live video call. Yeah, Duke is stacked. Duke is stacked. Duke is stacked. Next 3 games is not won an ACC game yet? Oh, yeah, but Boston College. Yes, so Syracuse, talk about getting on a run. Like, this is your chance. Like, if not now, it's literally never. If not now, it's not happening later. Not going to happen later, if not now. What's up, Q Sports Nar? And your vast knowledge of Q Sports. Somebody on Twitter also today, speaking of random conversations I was having, this was when Syracuse was up 20 and Donnie had just gone on like a personal 9-0 run. He was comparing Donnie Freeman to Derek Coleman, and that hurt my brain a little bit. I like Donnie, but we got to reel that puppy back in just a little bit. At this point, you're concerned if they don't make the tourney, who are they going to lose in the portal? Well, if they don't make the tourney, the first thing they're probably going to lose is their head coach, and then I think all bets are off. Yeah, watch out, ACC. Watch out, ACC. Here comes the Qs. I still, like, Donnie Freeman when healthy, and Donnie Freeman is currently healthy. Look what he did tonight. Donnie Freeman when healthy is one of the best players in the league. I don't know if that's the best 10, best whatever. A healthy Donnie Freeman is one of the best players in the league. With Donnie Freeman, Syracuse is going to go into a lot of these games with the best player. Which, I don't know if you are all aware of this in basketball. That's good. And that's very useful to have. So, like, Syracuse won tonight because they had the best player. Like, when Ndongo was on the court, he was really good. Donnie was slightly better, and Donnie played 34 minutes to Ndongo's 25 because of the injury in the first half and then foul trouble. Syracuse won this game tonight because their best player played more and played slightly better than Georgia Tech's best player. Period, full stop. Like, that's why they won the game tonight. Freeman scored 7 more points than Ndongo in a 10-point win. Like, that's why they won the game tonight. Yeah. So now you can at least start slotting in and around. So that's where I'm like, all right, now you know. All right, Donnie's your best guy. How is it going to come together around him? Like, if Donnie gets hurt again, like, then they're just screwed. So it's not even worth considering. But like, I kind of like the Donnie Cayenne thing in the first half was good. Cayenne didn't do anything in the second half. JJ had another rough game tonight. He had the huge dunk and then nothing really else. Nate Kings, I still like everything Nate does. His offense it's been since he had the what do you have? Was it 19.5? Since the first half against Tennessee, Kings has not really been filling it up at the offensive end. He's shooting fine, but the volume's not there. The Nate George games are just mystifying in a lot of ways, good, bad, and otherwise. William Kyle has stopped scoring here now that we're in ACC play. He had the huge block late, though. I still love me some William Kyle. Like, that block was essentially the end of the game at that point. You know, and then we keep calling. Can we get a little more Tyler Betsy? He made the 1-3 tonight. That's it. In the second half, the high archer played just 9 minutes. Cayenne, 11 points, didn't score in the second half. So, and Sadiq only 8 minutes tonight. Wondering if he's banged up at all. I'm not sure. But Donnie's your best guy, and it's not close right now. What are you going? NBA potential? I can't see JJ in the NBA. Like, on this team, NBA potential, like, clearly Donnie has NBA potential. I think Sadiq White, if given time and getting a little more bulk on the frame, I think maybe, like, he's got a shot. Cayenne obviously has a shot. William Kyle, it's like, William Kyle, I think, would need to do one more thing really well to have a shot. The way the NBA is played today, the size he is, doesn't have anything resembling a jump shot. Like, he's a great athlete, great defensive player. Can maybe make a roster doing that? Maybe. But, like, he's not going to bring anything offensively to the table in the NBA. Can you make a roster and hang around being, like, you're talking about a 3-and-D guy? He'd be just only a D guy, just only defense. I don't know. I don't know. So we'll see. Yeah, if Kyle was either 4 inches taller, Devin, or if he had a jump shot. Like, if Kyle could either make a corner 3 or he was 4 inches taller, he'd be an NBA guy. Yeah, Nate George knocking, like, way too many turnovers for the league. Way too many turnovers. Oh, man, those Jay Wright teams with all those guys. Going back, like, the mid-2000s when they had Foy and Nardi and Alan Ray and all those guys. Oh, man. They were fun to watch. Really fun to watch basketball teams. Yeah. P. Mahaki. When Syracuse dribbles too much, bad things happen. When they pass the ball, good things happen. It's pretty clear. It's pretty consistent. It's been happening all season. And there we are. I enjoy talking to myself, Gavendo. That's why I made this show, so I have somebody to listen to me while I'm talking to myself. We're thinking. We are thinking. Yeah, Steven. Like, that's one of these things. All we want. I know Syracuse has higher aspirations historically in Sweet 16s and Final Fours. If Syracuse is in the tournament this year, just, can we watch a game in March that matters? I know the term meaningful games in March and all that. I don't want meaningful games in March. I want to watch an NCAA tournament game where Syracuse is playing basketball. And I want it to be exciting. And I want it, as fun as the Buddy Buckets thing was, I want it to not be during freaking COVID so we can all actually enjoy it. Like, can we have that? Can we have nice things? Do we have to send Kevin Gavendo to their corners? Do we need to send him to a neutral corner? No Red Post game tonight, Anthony. They are not available live generally for road games. Hang on. I will do some checking to see if it's happened and is available anywhere yet. I'm sure it has happened. Is it available anywhere yet? Pardon me while I scour the internet for anything that might resemble Adrian Autry. Oh, wait. Hang on. I tell you, no Adrian Autry post game. It is available here. It's happened and it's been posted. Just a second. Give me just one stinking second, and we are gonna get you Adrian Autry post-game after just a couple of clicks. Where's the click?
Clemson game, and to be able to come down here and play against a good Georgia Tech team, and to get the win on the road was, I was happy for our guys. I thought they fought, from the beginning to the end. Even when when they made their comeback, we knew they would make a run. That's what happens. But I thought we kept composed, we kept fighting, we made the shots that we needed to make down the end. I thought our stops at the end were really good. The zone, I thought kind of saved us a couple of possessions and some time, but we just finished the game the way we needed to finish. I was just proud of our guys because they really shared the ball and moved and screened and played for each other. So again, we got to continue to do that. But just proud of the way we played, proud of the way we finished the game, and just continually just I thought we improved and got better today. As a team, I thought we improved and got better, and we just got to continue to do that.
All in the first half.
Donna.
There was that stretch in the second half where you turned it over a ton, and that's when they came back.
Yeah.
What happened during that stretch?
Yeah, I thought we had some careless ones. I really did. I thought we got some careless ones. I thought we stopped moving like we were in the first half. I thought the second half we didn't move to get open, and they started ramping up the pressure, and they disrupted our timing, and we have to do a better job. But I thought the first half we moved, we got open, we got the ball to where we needed to get into it. The second half we didn't do that, and in particular during that run, we got careless with the ball and allowed them to get back into the game. Those are the things that we got to clean up and continually work on, and we'll watch that and get better at that.
That's when we got the Nate George dribble off the foot part of the ballgame. Red's talking really fast.
Adrian, could you talk a little bit about what Donnie is meaning to this team? Because we've seen now in these last two games, not only is he scoring on offense, but it seems like you might even be giving him more minutes than you initially planned to give him on his return.
Yeah, he was ready to go. Again, he hasn't played as much basketball as some of these other guys, so he's had time to rest and recover. But no, Donnie's big for us. He gives us a guy that we can go inside, a guy that can step outside. He's a versatile offensive player. And again, I think he really kind of sets the tone for us. It gives us a different look. I thought the games without him, we were way more perimeter oriented, and I thought, that was some of our struggles. Now that we can mix, go down, go inside, and our free throws. That's another good free throw shooter to add to the list. So I just think, he's very important to what we do.
Yes, he is your best player. Donnie Freeman is the best player.
A similar note, it feels like I don't know if this is working or not.
Don't worry about it.
It feels like with Donnie, you guys are really starting to develop. It's working now? Okay. Sounds
I
good.
can still hear you.
Coach, it really feels like with Donnie, you guys are starting to develop an offensive identity over these last couple of games. How have you sort of seen that development?
I think we've done a good job of, after the Clemson game, kind of, building off of that. It was a lot of things that we needed to clean up. And I thought, again, with our screening and really being strong with the ball, that, again, he's a guy that you can throw the ball below the foul line. And that's a big difference for us. We wasn't getting that before. So to be able to throw the ball below the foul line and, and get some easier shots and be able to continue to put pressure on the rim, that's really key. And I think, again, we haven't been whole the whole year, so this is the first time in the last two games that we've been whole. So I think we'll continue to improve and to get that connection.
Translation: when you have your best player, you are better at basketball.
I saw that you had spoken with Nate George before the game. You kind of gave him a hug. I don't know what kind of conversations you had about coming back here and playing, but I'm curious about what those conversations were like.
Didn't have too many besides just go out there and have fun and play. It's a basketball game, and again, I was a player, and I experienced, in my professional career, going back and playing one of my former teams, and I know those, no matter what you say, no matter what the coach says, that's something that's special, and you want to play well, and he did. He delivered. I mean, he was clutch down the end. Again, he's, so it wasn't really too much, but just, go out there and have fun. This is a basketball game. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. But I thought he really responded, and, he stepped up for us and delivered, down the stretch.
Red looks tilted to the left.
Dongo was able to play a long stretch in the second half with 4 fouls. Was that something were you trying to get the ball to the guy that he was having to guard, or was he just able to play that game without picking up that 5th foul?
I believe they started switching, so every time, they switch and, the matchup that we would want, we probably couldn't get. But again, we wanted to keep moving the ball. A lot of times when you start to try to pick on someone or try to attack someone, you kind of stand around a little bit. That's we just wanted to keep playing in our flow. And I thought a lot of our offensive struggles in that stretch just was because we didn't move, we didn't get open, and we didn't we weren't strong with the ball.
Yeah, passing the ball better than dribbling the ball for this team.
Coach, you were the last team in Division I to play a true road game, but at times tonight it felt like a Syracuse home game almost. One, did you expect that? And two, what does that support from the Orange Faithful do for your guys on the floor?
I forgot to even thank Orange Nation that came out, and they were loud, and it feels good. I think even our players didn't understand, the support that we have down here in the Atlanta area. So I'd like to really thank all the Orange Faithfuls that came out today. They were loud, and I thought that made a difference, especially in that run. They started getting loud, and our guys feed off of that. We talk about level 5. And again, I thought the Orange Faithfuls today were level 5 on the road, and that was big time for us.
But how much did not having Noel Abdel hurt the juicing station? There goes Red. All right. Oh, very, very. There he goes. There he goes.
Enhance your membership with the American Express platform.
YouTube's playing things. Stop it, YouTube. There's a commercial. Go away. Okay, there was Red Autry. On tape, on demand, live from, not live, but we just showed it to you live from Atlanta. And now my YouTube is going to an Alton Brown video that I was watching earlier. I don't think we'll watch him cook a roast. What we do need to do is our Wild Birds Unlimited Big Air Player of the Game. We do need to do that. We need to take a looky-loo into the old backyard. Man, oh man, oh man. Who should we give our Wild Birds Unlimited Big Air Player of the Game? The lens looks wet on the backyard bird cam. That's probably due to the fact that it was raining all afternoon and may or may not still be raining now. Everything looks a little blurry in the backyard at the moment. But, yeah, shocking news to report. Donnie Freeman is our Wild Birds Unlimited Big Air Player of the Game. Career day for Donnie, 27 points. And Syracuse had the best player in the game. His name was Donnie Freeman. Syracuse won this basketball game because they had Donnie Freeman. End sentence, end statement. Not much more needs to be said about that. There was a bird, before we put away the Wild Birds Unlimited backyard bird cam here. Hang on. Let me open the app on the phone so I can get this name correct. I'll have to show you this bird the next time. There was a bird. We had one bird appearance at the bird game today, and I don't know who's naming birds. I don't know who's in charge of naming birds. The bird I had at the bird cam earlier today was a white-breasted nuthatch. A white-breasted nuthatch? Who names these things? A white-breasted nuthatch? I might need to get into bird naming to help people out with this. Donnie Freeman. Not a nuthatch is our Wild Birds Unlimited Big Air Player of the Game. There we go. We can stop looking at the backyard. And I can turn off the lights on. I had to turn on the lights on the deck from my phone, so there was at least something back there. But now we can turn them off because my goodness, the electric bill last month with the Christmas lights month bill, holy crap, that was aggressive. That was aggressive. So hang on with me. We're gonna go to the app and we're gonna turn the lights on the porch off, and I can verify on the bird cam that they are off. So there we go. We have accomplished that, and we have done all of the important things that we need to do today. Thank you, Jason. Thank you for coming and joining the show here. This has been a very good crowd considering it's Tuesday night. You had a Cardinal today, Kevin? Excellent. Kev's got a bird cam now. CJC's got a bird cam. We got bird cam populations. I'm gonna have to figure out a way. I'm sure there's an easy way to do it, and I'll let you guys know. Yeah, we're just making up birds now. They're just making the things up. It was a cute little guy. It was like a tiny little bird. I'll have to put it in the bird cam video in a couple of days the next time we do one. But yeah, it was a nice little bird. It was like, what Who is naming these things? Red Camp? Just following the Red Ultra Camp. Red, you fired yet? Red. Oh man, I'm meeting with my guy Matt at Wild Birds on Friday. We have some future business to discuss. I need to ask him, because since so many of you have gone and supported the sponsors and bought the Bird Cam now, which is awesome. They're not cheap. Yeah, you can send me the link, but I got to figure out a way. There's got to be an easy way for. I think I can put us in like a group, or yeah, I'm a Bird Cam influencer. I'm big in the Bird Cam circuit, LA Orange. I think there's a way. I got to look in the app. I think there is a way to create a group or something, so I can probably put us in a group so we'll be able to like share our bird stuff and we can be bird people together, because that's the thing. And then I can show your birds on the Bird Cam, and like we'll do a whole thing. So I will pass that along to you. But yes, Randy, getting tired is a reasonable thing to be doing because it is 10:30 on a Tuesday. As we wrap up here, a few reminders scheduling-wise. The return of the TPS report, myself, and today's birthday boy, Jordan, will be tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock. So we'll see you tomorrow night at 8 o'clock for Transfer Portal Syracuse. We'll talk about this game. We'll talk about the portal. We'll talk about Insurrection Birthday Boy. Probably have some eggnog and figure it all out. Oh yeah, the Bird Cam biz is weird, Randy. It's a weird scene. So that's tomorrow night. Thursday morning, 11 o'clock, episode 2 of Live in the 315. Mike McAllister will join us. Not live, but I'll tape it and play it back for you. He was sadly unavailable at 11, but that's okay. And then post-game on Saturday for Syracuse and Pittsburgh. So thanks, great crowd. Hang in here tonight, and we'll talk to you all right back here tomorrow night at 8 o'clock.
Thanks for watching the 315 with Brian Higgins. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn your notifications on. We'll see you next time.